am the most productive and energized when I can't even imagine how wrong I was, because it's even further my creative block. Yesterday I attempted to film my first ever vlog and it went something like this. So today I decided to talk to you. Yeah, because I'm staring at this painting. I have no clue. Initially, I loved the concept, the idea, whatever, whenever, wherever. Now I just want to complain a little bit. Everything I'm doing on the daily days, I'm freaking out every time I'm freaking out. That's it. Also yesterday, I wanted to make Plačinti Moldovenești, and it went something like this. Okay, a long story short. Today I wanted Plačinti Moldovenești. And I wanted to make them in the morning, but I didn't have flour. And I thought, okay, I'll order from Karim the flour and something else I need for the kitchen. And yes, I did order. And one ingredient I forgot to add to the cart, and guess what was it? Flour. Later today, I decided, okay, this time for sure I will add flour to my cart. I was looking around what else I can order from the app and so on, and in the end I pressed to make an order, and again I didn't add flour. Twice today I ordered literally everything else except flour. Don't ask me, I don't have the answer, just don't. I'm going to the store and hopefully I will find there flour. But today is a new day, so I'll try again. What I was trying to tell you yesterday was that after my Europe trip, it's been really hard for me to get back to work. I had 6 weeks break while I was in Europe and 3 more weeks since I'm back in Dubai. During all this time, all I managed to make was 2 sketches in Cannes while being on the beach with my mom, which was the best time ever. Now the summer is almost over, and while I plan to create an entire collection during this time, in the end I only have 2 sketches. This feeling of dissatisfaction and disappointment in myself is what I think causes even further my creative block. Right now I have 3 unfinished paintings and exactly 3 weeks until the end of the summer. Really doesn't mean anything. I just want to use this small coincidence to create a mini challenge to spice things up. I noticed that I am the most productive and energized when I challenge myself in some ways. Everything becomes more exciting when I push my limits and I progress. So let's see if by the end of summer I will be able to finish these 3 paintings. I already feel inspired. I really don't like how this unbleached white looks. I'm starting by balancing my colors first. I needed a deeper blue next to this scarlet red, so it would make a nicer contrast. So yeah, covering it. Also, the skyline, I feel like it needs a pop of color, because now it looks flat, boring and too cold. I'm deepening the shadow part of this mountain with a warmer shade of red. So I stepped into paint and spread it all over the floors. Classic. One week update, I guess. A week has passed by already and I haven't done much really. I didn't check beforehand if I have everything I need, and it turned out I ran out of all my oil mediums, so I needed to order them again, and of course it took a week for it to be delivered. Sometimes it takes only one day, but when you need it the most, it takes the longest. Anyway, today I got my delivery, so yay, I can finally start painting. But now I guess instead of 3 weeks, I only got 2 to complete my challenge and finish my 3 paintings. Honestly, I don't know if I'll be able to, but well, what will happen will happen. And it's not only you, I'm also curious. Okay, now back to work. I think this is my favorite part of painting, when I start creating texture and depth by building layers of thicker paint. These sticks from RNF, by the way, are my favorite. Blend beautifully together, soft like butter, with such bright, yummy colors. Love them. I'm such a houseworm, you can't even imagine. And being in Dubai makes it even worse, because you really don't have the need to go out. I can literally order anything online or through apps and have it delivered to my door, sometimes within minutes. If it's groceries, then minutes. So I can stay inside for weeks and I'll be fine. Yesterday I decided to go to the cinema for the first time in 2 weeks. These are the last days of the Superman movie running at the cinema, and I didn't want to miss it. So I decided to go there in the evening, and I made 2 assumptions. First, that everyone already watched Superman and the movie theater will be empty. The second is that nobody is in Dubai during summer. You can't even imagine how wrong I was. Imagine, we are at the Mall of the Emirates trying to buy tickets, and there are how many seats available? 0. 0 seats available. And this was the same story with all the other movies I was interested in. But we managed to find 2 seats for the Fantastic Four movie, which is also one of the movies I wanted to watch, and they were of course on the second row in the left corner. Seats that I would never pick, but it was this or nothing. The movie was nice, I liked it. Earlier this year I watched all the Fantastic Four previous movies from 2005, 2007 and 2015, because I wanted to compare them with the new one, and in my opinion this one is the best out of all. It is visually beautiful, storyline is more interesting, and we finally have an actual Galactus character like it is in the comics, so it was nice. The moral of the day, well guys, don't assume anything in this life, okay? This drawing on the road is very special, because it is the oldest symbol found on the territory of Romania in the Cuina Turcului cave. The symbol is 13,000 years old, and it is the oldest artistic manifestation of Homo sapiens. I also included one message when sketching this painting, to remember where you're going. But now I decided to cover it, because I don't want to give a specific interpretation of the painting or a single message. I try to tell a story while leaving it open for interpretation. I believe that art is a deeply personal experience. Art is a tool that helps you connect with your inner self, face your fears, and even find peace in your hopes and dreams. And my role as an artist, at least as I see it, is to find that perfect balance between telling a story with enough anchors and details to trigger the viewer to relate, to analyze parts of their life or feelings that are usually suppressed, while keeping the story open to be completed, extended, or even reinvented by the viewer. And it is not an easy task. Since I'm using now some red shades to paint, I think it will be curious and fun to tell you a few facts about red in particular, because our psyche is very susceptible to it. For example, at the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens, combat sport participants who wore red won 55% of the time. And in 2007, a study was conducted to test the effects of color red on intellectual performance. The test subjects were required to solve anagrams, and people whose tests had red covers performed worse than those with green and black covers. They also chose easier options when given the choice. But we are not the only species to be influenced by red. Monkeys, for example, rhesus, macaques, and mandrills, have cherry-colored areas on their rumps, faces, and genitalia that indicates their testosterone levels as well as aggression. The bull, on the contrary, even though it is the animal most famously considered as being triggered by red, they are actually colorblind. That's so ironic. It is the flutter and the swish of the matador's small muleta cape that the bulls react to, and not the actual color. I was thinking today about my creative process, and I started to see some tendencies I didn't like. All this time I was creating from a place of fear and not curiosity. Fear of making a mistake and ruining what I already had. Fear of wasting paint. However absurd this may sound, it's somehow true. Fear of wasting time and then understanding that the concept, the colors, and overall the painting is trash. And finally, the biggest and the real fear is that my art will prove in the end that I am a bad artist. Because that's all I do and all I am. And if I'm not good at this, then what am I doing? This is the reason why I really overthink my every action. This makes my paint strokes, my shapes, lines look forced and unnatural. And also the colors often look off and awful. The last few days since I'm working on this painting, I decided to detach. No, let's be more dramatic. I decided to divorce myself from the result. This means I decided to have fun instead of being stressed, to be in the moment and truly enjoy the process. In other words, to paint the way I feel it and not the way I overthink it. By the way, last week, before I started to work on this painting, I wanted to fully change the color scheme. I didn't like at all how the colors looked. But after detaching myself from everything that was happening in my head and relaxing, I started to see that the problem was not in the colors. The real problem was in the values. The values were wrong. That's why the colors were not looking good. When I fixed the values, everything else fell in place and even the colors started to look better. That's it for now. I will tell the story behind this painting as well as the final result and overall how my challenge is going in my next episode. So stay tuned.